Hi, Amala.
Hi. I'm always here somewhere, guys. You just never know which seat you're going to get me in.
I know, you're in the right seat. You're in the right seat today. I got to tell you, Amala, I was not
yet,
sure
Reggie
whether or
Gangster.
not we should talk about this particular headline that we have today. Sex ed curriculum used in Richfield schools. We have an article that we're going to share in the comments section. This is from Alpha News. Our friend Kyle Hooten wrote this article and sent it to me last week.
Yeah, Amala is definitely way more media savvy, which makes her more dangerous.
As a very alarming wake-up call. And what we talk about...
Wait, they're getting their news from a website called Alpha News? At some Minnesota news sites, partisans write the checks. While Watchdog.org and The Uptake get money from partisan donors, the money trail behind 5-month-old Alpha News is much more difficult to track. Its website says nothing about its donors or editorial process, but does carry ads and asks readers to donate. One thing is certain, Alpha News has ties to a prominent Republican donor, and the political group he founded years ago. Business filings show that Alex Karam incorporated Alpha News. Karam also works as executive director for the Minnesota Freedom Club, a political group that supports conservative candidates and was founded by and largely bankrolled by Republican donor Robert Cummins. Karam did not respond to calls or emails to discuss Alpha News. Reporter Julia Schleising, who goes by Julia Aaron, while on the job, declined to talk about Alpha News because of a non-disclosure agreement she signed when she took the position. Schleising did, however, speak earlier this month with conservative talk show host John Gilmore about the project. I like to think that at Alpha News we cover things that people aren't covering, she said. Okay. Art Ryan, thank you for the 110 biddies. I appreciate it. Alpha News stands out for a number of reasons. Some stories carry no bylines, are scarce on quotes, often aggregate facts and information from other news outlets, and tout non-scientific Facebook polls. The Society for Professional Journalists sets out standards for identifying sources and attribution in its code of ethics. Okay. Yeah, so basically they're a scummy rag funded by, probably some, iron tycoon, given that it's Minnesota. But... oh gosh. I don't know. What's wrong with teaching children to be accepting of transgender people? I feel like when you're complaining about this, it's really a self-report, you know? Is the iron the old industry money in Minnesota? Yeah, specifically like taconite mining is really big here.
Every week here is what's appropriate, what's not in schools. Obviously, we talk about critical race theory a lot, as that is a hot topic. And most of our parents now who are in our PrEP membership program, part of PragerU Kids, more and more we have very concerned messages and notes about the radicalized sex ed that is being injected into...
It's not radicalized sex ed. It's literally just teaching kids that it's okay to be gay or trans.
To our curriculum. Amala, let's see. You have the article.
I do.
Okay, so let's go ahead. Am I allowed to say the title of this article on air?
I mean, sad but true. You might as well, yeah.
Okay,
This
I
is the
might as
reality
well.
we're
The
facing.
article is in here. I'm a parent of 2 small children, so I am always very selective about what I say on the internet.
Maybe if your kids are being taught this in school, you should talk to them if you really want them to be educated on the subject in the way you want them to be.
Online. Here's the title. I'm reading it. Sex ed curriculum used in Richfield schools. This is in Minnesota. Asks students to role play gay sex scenarios. Now that title headline is obviously very incendiary, alarming. You know,
Yeah, I don't think the teachers are having the kids like pretend to fuck each other. But that's what the headline is designed to make you think they're doing. That's not the case. That's not what any sex ed curriculum is about. This is always what Republicans do. They fearmonger about teaching children things. Sorry, no, this isn't like their kids are playing out Pornhub scenes, all right?
it elicits a reaction. But in going through this article, Amala, have you had a chance to read it?
I have.
Okay, so I want to quickly run through. There's this sex ed, and this is, again, this is for informational purposes.
Let's see. What is the Child Protection League? Not really getting clear answers here. Oh. You know, just social and emotional learning, a gateway to Islam and LGBT acceptance. Yeah, activists. Let's see. The primary focus of the conference was social emotional learning, SEL. Social emotional learning is the most recent aggressively marketed education strategy for transforming the attitudes, values, and beliefs of children. It has very little to do with academics. Wait, it's really hard to learn if other children fucking hate you because you're gay or trans. Wait, we should want kids to be more accepting. Like, this isn't controversial. Like, sorry, do you want your kids going around saying the N-word all the time or calling other kids, like, slurs? Then maybe you should be interested in SEL, I guess. If not, I suppose. According to speakers at the conference, blah, 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 blah. Oh, they connected it with Islam because there's a girl on the cover smiling and wearing, like, non-traditional clothing. Non-standard clothing. Let's see. The executive director of CARE MN, the Council for American Islamic Relations, Jailani Hussein, gave a detailed presentation about Islam, its beliefs and religious practices. Hussein expects schools to accommodate Muslim foot washing, Ramadan observance, Friday prayer days, and provide quiet spaces for students to wash and pray. He wants school curriculum to be sensitive to Muslim students' cultural and religious needs and practices. Oh, yeah. Why would you not want that? School should probably also be accommodating to, like, Christian or Jewish observance of holidays. This isn't rocket science. Oh gosh. Remarkably, that blog encourages schools to counter bigotry against Islam by having female students wear a hijab for a day. I mean, yeah, that's like experiential learning is actually a pretty effective way of teaching kids that like other people wearing hijabs is totally okay if that's what they want to do. This group is insane. This isn't anti-bias, it's training children to be activists and agitators and to adopt a sanitized view of Islam. Okay. 99.9% of Muslims are peace-loving individuals, but sure, okay. In the workshop, LGBTQ early conversations promote healthy identities and build allies. We are led to believe that adults are confused if they believe that boys wearing dresses is unnatural. Yeah, because clothes aren't natural. Like, boys can literally wear any kind of clothing and still be boys. But if they're identifying as women, well, then they're identifying as women and they're not boys, are they? Or the students are either biologically boys or girls. Your biology doesn't determine your gender. Oh, goodness. Additionally, anyone who thinks sexual intercourse should be reserved for a man and a woman within a committed marriage relationship is considered a bigot. I mean, literally everything here is kind of clarifying that. Okay, well, I'm glad we learned more about this group and why they hate kids learning about diversity. I'm gonna wear a dress 10 times harder now.
Is for all of our parents watching. These weekly lives that we do are for you parents here.
Just remember, by the way, this is what PragerU is defending. I mean, there was never really any doubt about that, but they tend to hide it pretty well, right? PragerU tends to avoid saying explicitly homophobic things, or explicitly anti-Semitic things, or explicitly anti-Muslim things. It's pretty rare for them to actually go out and just very explicitly saying this. Smite Night, yes, we watched the Pericles video, and I laughed so hard. Don't put that kid within arm reach of a grown Athenian man. It's a big misstep, okay? Classic time traveling whoopsie daisy.
This sex ed that is in this Alpha News article, it's called the 3 R's, which stands for rights, respect, responsibility. Sounds fabulous.
Does. The left always sounds fabulous.
Those are all words that I believe in as a parent: rights, respect, responsibility. And this curriculum was developed by Advocates of Youth, which is an organization that is partnered with Planned Parenthood. Again, this is in school district, in the Richfield schools in Minnesota. It's authored in large part by former Planned Parenthood employees. So right there, we have a skewed curriculum with a particular politicized point of view that is in this school. So they call this a comprehensive...
Oh, yeah, just totally ignore the skewed view of the people raising concerns.
Comprehensive sex education. But as Amala scrolls down, and I really encourage everyone to read what's in this article because it is shocking. We have
3 R's is a type of comprehensive sexual education, a term used to describe progressive sex ed programs that include information about the mechanics of homosexual intercourse, transgenderism, abortion, and more. Yeah, that is what sex education is. What did you all think sex ed was about? Did you think that they were talking about literal birds and literal bees? Did you not understand that they were talking about the baby making? Like, you understand when a bird and a bee love each other very much, they bump up against each other a couple times and that makes a baby. Like, is that what you thought sex ed was supposed to be? Richfield I wouldn't describe as a particularly SJW curriculum.
Scenarios in this curriculum that directs teachers to instruct students to pretend that they are transgender and making a decision about whether or not to have sex. We have, in this curriculum, teachers are directed to give first graders the picture book called My Princess Boy, which is
these scenarios ask students to pair up, pretend they are in a gay or lesbian relationships, and navigate the process of deciding whether or not to have sex. One activity in the curriculum directs a male student to pretend his name is Morgan, a boy who is very active in his school's LGBTQ club, while another student pretends to be Terrence, a closet homosexual who wants to have sex with Morgan. In this scenario, Morgan plans a secret rendezvous, and the two role-playing students are asked to make a decision about whether to have sex. Yeah, this is something that it's designed that way, to teach consent. To teach consent and to make sure that they understand the concept. Yeah, no, Exia Ross, they're trying to present this as if, like, the teacher's like, okay, kids, strip down, it's time to fuck each other. Like, no, it's not how it works.
controversial story based on real 5-year-old boys'
We play XCOM and chill.
experiences with cross-dressing. The language of transgenderism is introduced at the earliest levels of education in this 3-arc.
Yeah, kids should know what a transgender person is. Again, like, this is why we need to raise money for, like, to help transgender people, okay? Like, these people are out there in our world, active in our political sphere, influential in our political sphere, and they are going around saying things like a kid knowing what transgender people are is somehow causing them harm. Like, yeah, your kids shouldn't hate trans people. That shouldn't be a controversial thing to say. And your kids should know what trans people are so that they can make better decisions about themselves and how they act with other people. Like, let me put it this way. Your kid shouldn't be, like, figuring out what a trans person is when they're in their 20s, okay? That's unacceptable. That's what I had to do. And frankly, it messed me up for the rest of my life. Not because being trans is bad, but because the complete lack of education deprived me of the opportunity to make better decisions for myself that would allow me to have transitioned sooner.
Curriculum. One lesson designed.
Yeah, that's what I did last year. Yeah.
And this is all in the article. I'm literally reading this. In one lesson designed for kindergartners, the teacher is.
Wait.
Article. I'm literally reading this. In one lesson designed for kindergartners, the teacher is directed to refer to a woman as a quote unquote person with a body part that begins with.
You can't say vulva? I'm pretty sure you can say vulva.
The V. I'll let you guys read it because I don't want to say this on air. I'm a mom of 2 little kids, and you know how the internet works.
Who gets uncomfortable about the word vulva? I've written and read, like, erotica. I've never heard of anyone being, like, upset about the word vulva. As far as I'm aware, it's not even, like, one of the banned words on television. Pretty sure you can say vulva or penis on television. 80-year-old Catholics, I mean, I guess. Like, yeah. Vulva and penis are perfectly acceptable words to say. But also, like, yeah. A woman is generally a person with a vulva. But not always, you know? There are other people with vulvas.
These days, right?
Yes.
So here's the thing. All of this is described in this sex ed curriculum.
See, counterpoint Draco Wrath. Whenever I say the word vulva, it makes me want to say vuvuzela, all right? And that is the least sexy thing to say.
That is highly radicalized and frankly takes away parents' rights to be able to know what their children are learning.
Wait, so she doesn't want her children to learn that what a vulva is or a penis is? It's literally literally one of the only things that sex ed has been doing for like the past 60 years.
K through 12 about sex education in these schools. When you went through this article, Amala, was there any part of you that, are we even shocked anymore? Or are you like, yeah, this happens?
This happens. Yeah, and it's weird that as we go through this subversion of our society that everything just becomes normalized. It becomes way more normal now to see this happening, whereas if you had shown me that
I unironically own a Volvo truck.
this 5 years ago, I would have thought you were crazy.
Exactly. If I would have seen this a year ago, I would have been like screaming my head off. Here's the interesting part. So in this article, when you guys read this, there's a video where a few parents and child advocates speak about this curriculum. They do say that out of the 60 school-based studies, no credible evidence of effectiveness was found for sustained reductions in teen pregnancy or STDs. So was found. Kids speak about this curriculum. Interesting part. So in this article, when you guys read this, there's a video where a few parents and child advocates speak about this curriculum. They do say that out of the 60 school-based studies, no credible evidence of effectiveness was found for sustained reductions in teen pregnancy or STDs. So
that's just factually not true. Almost every single study done on this shows that teaching kids safe sex practices and consent from an early age reduces the likelihood that they are going to be molested and sexually assaulted. It reduces the likelihood of teen pregnancy, etc. Like almost every single source on this. What she's doing is disingenuously quoting a source that's like, yeah, we're from the Child Protection League, and yeah, no, all sex ed bad. It's just bad. It doesn't help.
The reason why we do believe in age-appropriate sex education for students is to prevent these dangers that can happen to them so that they are educated. But in radicalized sex ed like this, it's not reducing the thing that we're trying to prevent against. So then we ask ourselves, what is the point? Why is this in our schools? And it leads me to think, why are these things being taught in our schools, but standard, fundamental educational lessons are not?
Right, because that's no longer the goal of education anymore. It's not the goal to prepare kids for life. It's not the goal to prevent kids from experiencing harm or.
Wait, are you saying if kids know that they should respect gay people, it's not going to produce harm? Okay.
Are going through different struggles in their lives, it is to push ideology. So they don't care about that. They don't care that their stats are not coming back with kids with lower teen pregnancy rates and lower STDs. They care that I've indoctrinated somebody.
Yeah, which is So sad. Do we have any comments about this? Are there any Minnesota parents that are watching that might have firsthand knowledge about this?
Yeah, if you are from Minnesota, let us know. I see we've got a bunch of comments, a lot of angry parents. Linda
Read
says,
'em.
this is so wrong. God protect us. Paula says, they have no right to be teaching students this. This is a parent's place to teach this subject. Rick says, our public schools are now government indoctrination camps. Molly says,
Public schools have always been government indoctrination camps. That's literally one of their purposes.
they're implementing this crap in Kansas schools. People need to be arrested. Kat says, disgusting. None of this should be taught in school. It's time for teachers to start teaching reading, writing, arithmetic, and real science, and real, not revisionist history. Just my humble opinion. And lastly, Melissa says, this is shocking. How do we make it stop?
How do we make it stop? Keep going to school board meetings, keep getting involved, keep demanding that as parents and grandparents that we're able to opt.
Hostile school climates negatively affect LGBT students' educational success and well-being, leading to worse outcomes in life. This is why we teach LGBT acceptance, because if you teach acceptance, you get better outcomes for LGBTQ people. Teaching about this reduces the hostility of the environment by reducing the violence they experience, by reducing the explicit verbal harassment that they receive, etc. Around 85% of LGBT students report having been verbally harassed within the past year. So yeah, fuck these people.
Out of these types of lessons, the best way is to get ahead of knowing what is coming down the pike. Go to your school district, go to your board meetings.
And lefties out there, especially lefties out there who are parents, go to your school board meetings, go to your local events that have to do with your school, no matter how hard it is, okay? Because we need people who support trans kids, who support gay kids, who support lesbian kids, who support bi kids, who support all kinds of different kids, right? Non-binary kids. Even if your kid is doing some weird xenogender stuff or neo-pronouns or whatever, we need people who are going to support those kids so they can figure themselves out. So, show up to your school board meetings, okay?
Demand that you see the curriculum that exists in your school district. This particular curriculum, the 3 R's, this is what this is called. So be aware, this curriculum, this radicalized sex ed happening in Richfield schools in Minnesota is called the 3 R's. And
I love how mad they are about just learning that gay people have sex. Like that, teaching kids that. Again, the idea here being if you teach kids that gay sex is possible, they're going to be having gay sex. And it's bro, they're already having gay sex. Just teach them how to be safe.
it is not new. It has been in place for a number of years, and parents are provided opt-out information in advance. No student.
They're provided opt-out information in advance. Okay, then what are you complaining about? Literally, what are you complaining about?
Is required to participate, so that is a silver lining. But again, for the parents who maybe are busy, are working full-time, are not on the front lines of this constantly, because it does take a lot of energy and time to constantly be on alert and on guard. It's hard to get ahead of this, but
Yo, Lady Raincloud, thank you so much for donating $25. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
that's our job as parents right now. Regarding revisionist history, there was the parent that you said they're tired of their kids being taught revisionist history. I have something for you today.
She's here to teach. Oh, is she going to show the Pericles clip or no?
I have something. Who was that? You probably lost the comment. I would love to address them by name.
Yeah, I forgot the name.
That's okay. For all the parents that are wondering, why are our kids being taught sex education and revisionist history in lieu of classical foundational history at
Classical history has always been political. You just agreed with the status quo. That's the only issue.
You kids, we are trying to help you. Today, this is like a weird segue, but I'm going to do it anyways because I have it here. Today is the launch day. you guys, for our Otto's Tales book. Today is Columbus Day. So let's guess what this book talks about.
History?
Instead of history.
Does it talk about how Columbus chopped off people's hands if they didn't give him enough gold? Does it talk about how Columbus enslaved native peoples and started the transatlantic slave trade? Parkside Tuan, I'm not running ads on today's stream because we're raising money to help the Trans Empowerment project. Please donate. Would really appreciate it. But I will redeem or refund your ad time. You had an ad before watching stream? Well, I disabled scheduling ads, so as far as I know, that disables all ads, but it probably doesn't disable pre-roll ads because I don't have an ability to turn those off. Hey, Archangel the Cobb.
Instead of giving children books called My Princess Boy and trying to get them to question whether or not they were born as a male or
no one's trying to get the kid to question whether or not they were born as a male or a female or a boy or a girl. The point of the book is that if a kid is already feeling that way, that they have language to describe themselves. That's the point. Nobody is interested or wants to trans your kids.
or female. Why can't we give them books about history that detail what happened when Christopher Columbus sailed across the Atlantic Ocean in 1492?
Do they share the journal entries of other sailors who were with Columbus who detail how Columbus gave children, some as young as 9 years old, to his officers as gifts to use as wives or sex slaves? Does it talk about that? Because it doesn't really look like it from the cover. Looks honestly like it's whitewashing history and not actually presenting what happened based on the primary sources that we have available. Additionally, does it detail how when he got back, he was censored by the Spanish government because what he did was so terrible that they literally stripped him of his titles?
This is what our youngest learners need to be learning. This is what we are giving to you here from PragerU Kids. Once a month, our Otto's Tales books are for kindergarten through second grades. And what do you know? Were you taught about? Because Columbus Day is being canceled. That's the irony in all of this. We have Columbus Day being canceled across.
Yeah, because he was a mass murderer. Like, how would you feel if somebody showed up to your neighborhood and killed, like, half of the people who lived there, and then for the other half of the people, like, if they didn't bring him enough money, he just, like, cuts off one of your arms? That's essentially Columbus in a nutshell. Archangel the Cobb, thank you for gifting a $25 dono. I really appreciate it. I didn't see the message though. Let me take a little look-see. Can I get a non... Maybe, Archangel. Maybe. Thank you for the $25 dollar dues. Have I ever seen Bad Empanada's video on Columbus? I don't know how to feel about Bad Empanada. He seems like his videos tend to be pretty good, but he seems really unhinged on Twitter, which makes me distrust his videos.
Across various states, children are not being taught about who Christopher Columbus was, why he was important to America.
No, kids are still being taught about Christopher Columbus. They haven't stopped teaching about Christopher Columbus. They just teach him in a different way.
Why he was important to Western civilization in the Western Hemisphere, yet they're being taught about cross-dressing and role-playing on whether or not to have sex as a transgender. Anyways, what?
yeah, kids need to know that stuff because some kids are trans, some kids are gay, some kids are bi. Like, what? Yeah, that's why kids need to know this stuff so that they can know how to consent properly and how to be safe. Why do you not want your kids to be safe in these situations if they wind up being gay?
What do you know anything about Christopher Columbus? Were you taught about Christopher Columbus?
I had an interesting progression of my education on Christopher Columbus. At first, it was, in 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean.
I love that rhyme. Yes, I love it.
And then the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, all of that fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad you know the ships. That's good.
Thank you. And then as I got into high school and started getting into, the people's history of America and Howard Zinn, and then learning about how Columbus is not the great man that you think he was. He's a genocidal maniac who thought the Indians were stupid, and you did that. I did that whole progressive arc. And then obviously I came out on the other end of, wow, we stand on the shoulders of giants and we spit at their feet. And yeah, so.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I am not opposed to learning the full, well-rounded.
I mean, as far as like what I mean about bad empanada, like basically on Twitter, what I've noticed is that he like gets real bugfuck angry at people. And then, gets suspended from Twitter and then repeats, like the cycle just keeps repeating. Currently he's suspended from Twitter. Hey 8-bit spot, thank you so much for the biddies. Do I want to translate this? Spag, the Trans Empowerment Project directs aid to trans people who need food, emergency transportation out of dangerous circumstances, legal representation or assistance for like navigating bureaucracy. It also provides things like emergency medical services, so like getting trans people hormones. It says have great day. Oh, that's really cute. Hey, Big Orange Jew. Welcome. So like helping trans people in general. Yeah, but it's specifically targeted towards like people who are really down and out, who could really use the help. It also helps with like getting them clothing to better represent themselves and food, shelter, stuff like that. And it specializes in it pays particular attention to like disabled folks and people of color. So it's pretty awesome, pretty wholesome. Yeah, she's acting like her detailed understanding of Columbus comes up more in her life than practicing practical sexual knowledge. Yeah.
Truth
Absolutely.
of what happened.
Absolutely.
Do I think kindergartners need to
Hate breaking character. Aw, thank you so much, 8-bit spot. We adore you. Thank you so much.
be forced how to process that? No. Kindergarten through second grade, our youngest learners now are being indoctrinated, and they're not.
Well, yeah, because we know that teaching. Yo, Spag, thank you for the $25 dono. Cis ally trying to help based cis allies. Yeah, like, again, when you teach young kids about consent, they're able to like articulate this, and it lowers the rate of molestation. There are numerous studies on this. Who's teaching kindergartners about genocide? I don't know, but maybe if they want their kids to learn about Christopher Columbus, they shouldn't be picking and choosing and saying that kids should learn about Christopher Columbus in kindergarten when they can't even understand what genocide is. But you know, they can know what being gay is. They can know about being trans because people in their lives might be gay or trans. They might have gay parents, gay uncle, gay aunt, trans aunt, you know.
Being taught that Christopher Columbus is a symbol.
Honestly, you can talk to kids about just about anything. Anarchist Laboratory, Sean. I agree.
of perseverance. It took him 8 years. Fun fact, Amala, it took him 8 years to convince King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella to give him the money to sail across the ocean. Did anyone know that? Anyway,
The hustler.
What about when he got back and they stripped him of his titles because of the horrible things he was reported to have done to the native population?
Yeah, exactly. Columbus is an example of the immigrant experience to America. He is an example of what it means of discovery. He had no maps when he sailed across the ocean. He's a symbol of perseverance. I'm glad that you knew the names of the 3 ships, because nowadays kids do not know those names. But these are the foundations. I know. But this is the foundation, for better or for worse. This is the foundation of America. Yeah.
Weirdly based, her inadvertently recognizing that Columbus's creation of the transatlantic slave trade was the basis for America. Pretty roundabout way of getting to it, but strangely based. What about Draco Grath?
He sold natives into slavery. He didn't invent slavery. Yeah. Slavery. He didn't invent slavery. I'm glad that you knew the names of the 3 ships, because nowadays kids do not know those names. But these are the foundations. I know. But this is the foundation, for better or for worse. This is the foundation of America. Yeah, he sold natives into slavery. He didn't invent slavery.
No one has ever said that Christopher Columbus invented slavery. No, nobody has ever said that. What they have said is that he founded the transatlantic slave trade. Because those two concepts are different. Like, the transatlantic slave trade is different than the general understanding of slavery, and historically slavery outside of the transatlantic slave trade and in different places at different times has had different meanings. Like, what it meant to be a slave was very different in ancient Rome as opposed to, like, I don't know, to the Mongols. Was that a defense? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, there were atrocities at that time. Those are all things that can and
Yeah, there were atrocities that he did and ordered. Yo, Forlorn79, thank you for the $79 dono. And we'll do a little trans. I just misspelled trans, don't worry about it. No. Trans pride. If I know a trans person who could use their help, how can I get them in touch with TEP? Here's a link to the Trans Empowerment Project, and they have contact info there. You can contact them to request their help. I mean, he wasn't just complicit in the genocide, he started it. Right? Like, he literally ordered the massacring of innocent people. He cut off people's hands. He started the tributary system that would go on to like cripple all of South America. He gave children as sex slaves to his lieutenants. Like, yeah, also, Exia, like, there's no historical evidence that the Taino were actually cannibals. Like, no human bones have been found at any of their sites. Or, like, with evidence of, like, having been eaten. The site can't be reached? I mean, I can reach it just fine. Not entirely sure why you can't. You can also visit them on Facebook. So, here you can contact them through their Facebook page as well. But yeah, to access their services, they have a services page. I'm from Europe and can't reach it. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe you can reach. You'll have better luck through the Facebook page. Most cultures eat people at some point? No, actually. Most cultures don't. In fact, there's very little historical evidence for cannibalism in general. As like an accepted practice. The Aztecs weren't the nice guys? Yeah, absolutely they weren't. They were an empire. Empires aren't nice. Yeah, like, I mean, I guess Christianity is literally based around cannibalism. That's true. This bread is my body. Yeah, the Aztecs didn't practice cannibalism. I mean, we can get into some niche examples, but by and large, there was, to my knowledge, no anthropological evidence of, like, cannibalism in North and South America. I'll partake of your bread. Ayo. I don't know Columbus anything. Yeah, no, and look, literally any dipshit would have found America eventually, okay? And also, there were people already here, so finding it, not the biggest accomplishment. Alright.
Should be discussed at higher levels of education, in high school, in college, when children have...
It is. But also they need that information. Do you guys not know that, like, generally the best time to educate someone is before they need the information? Like, is that a difficult concept to understand? Like, it's better to know something going into a situation than it is to, like, not know something and to suddenly need to know, right? Like, which of these things is better to know? Or when is it better to know? It's better to know beforehand, so you can be prepared when the thing happens. That's why they don't just, like, throw you into NASA and go, just wing it. You know, no. You need to know beforehand. And that is especially true in the complex world of, like, human sexual and social relations. And yeah, on a basic level, more people should know who and what trans people are so that we can treat trans people with respect. Honestly, that's, like, what our entire stream is about tonight. The entire stream today is about, like, making sure trans people can live with dignity. Yeah, you need at least 24 hours in Kerbal Space Program.
Developed the brain power and have the skill set to really navigate those complex issues and discuss them in a mature way. It's unfair to focus only on the sins of these historical figures who had such an impact on the, eventual.
Wait, is it should we be teaching kids about Hitler? I mean, he did have a really big historical impact, right? Should we be teaching the sanitized version of Hitler in World War II? Like, it's roughly equivalent. Like, Columbus literally on the first trip to America did a genocide. He so horrified the nobility when he got back, that in his time he was stripped of titles.
Creation of the United States of America. So our Otto's Tales.
He didn't even land in the United States of America. He, like, why do you need to cling so desperately to this?
Today's Columbus Day book is on sale, available now. If your child's school is not teaching about
This book looks so cheap, by the way.
Columbus Day, if your child's school has canceled Columbus Day, maybe get a couple copies for their library or their kindergarten classrooms or the first grade classrooms. I think we have the link in the comments. I got to tell you, I shared this book on my own social media last night, and I immediately got a ton of hate for it already.
That's the name of the game. That's par for the course.
Yeah, I wonder why. I can't imagine why people would be angry that you shared a cartoon whitewashed book about a man who was responsible for starting the genocidal process in the Americas.
Honestly, you bring up Christopher Columbus and suddenly
Yeah.
it's Indigenous Day.
It is, and that's the thing. Vermont, Washington D.C., New York, these are all places. I think California too. These are all places that have completely canceled Christopher Columbus and traded
Wait,
it for Indigenous Peoples Day.
wait, that's better though. Indigenous Peoples Day is actually better. Because Indigenous Peoples Day, like, America, the United States, had indigenous people here. It benefits us more to learn about the indigenous people of the United States than it does to learn about Christopher Columbus, someone who had nothing to do with the United States.
Which we obviously respect and admire our Indigenous people here in America. No one is trying to discount.
Unfortunately, she is the one of the head people at PragerU, forlorn.
The existence or the contributions or the wisdom that that they have provided to the foundation of America. But come on, you
Give me a Christopher Columbus quote that was foundational to the founding of America, my dude. I want her to quote one Columbus line.
can't cancel the guy who brought Western civilization to the Western Hemisphere. You can't.
You can't cancel the guy who brought Western civilization to North and South America. Why? The result of that event killed millions of people. Like, literally millions of people. To me, this seems like the equivalent of saying, just saying like, well, you can't hate Hitler. I mean, he brought revolutionary technological advances to the modern world with the German war machine. You can't cancel a man after doing that. It changed the entire Western world. Like, no, cancel the motherfucker. Like, well, if we hadn't had Hitler, we wouldn't have invented, like, coding for radios. So, I mean, like, it would have been a completely different world. Like, what are you talking about? I need to hear that again, just because I don't believe that she actually said this. Wait. How many people did Columbus kill? Holy shit. following Christopher Columbus's arrival in North America in 1492, violence and disease killed 90% of the indigenous population, nearly 55 million people, according to a study from 2019. So indirectly, Columbus caused at least the deaths of 55 million people. Let's see. Let's see. After an attack by more than 2,000 natives of Hispaniola, Columbus had an underling, Alonso de Ojeda, bring him 3 Hispaniola leaders, native leaders, whom Columbus then ordered publicly beheaded. Ojeda also ordered his men to grab another native, bring him to the middle of his village, and cut off his ears in retribution for the natives' failings to be helpful to the Spaniards when fording a stream. Columbus personally enslaved more than 1,000 people on Hispaniola. About 50,000 natives committed mass suicide rather than comply with the Spanish. They plunged off cliffs, they poisoned themselves with roots, and they starved themselves to death. "56 years after Columbus's first voyage, only 500 out of 300,000 natives remained on Hispaniola. $250,000 people. Sorry, not 250,000. My bad. 299,500 people. Like, what is like... Yeah. 99.999% of the population died because of Columbus in the span of his lifetime. 99.999% of the population was killed by Columbus and his crew. Oh, by the way, Anarchist Laboratory Sean, I'm not trying to have, like, a competition here. I'm just saying, like, the way that, like, conservatives will make excuses for Columbus and, like, don't use is telling, right? Like, especially when they don't use the same rhetoric for similar mass murderers.
So our Otto's Tales Today's Columbus Day book is on sale, available now.
Oh, gotcha.
If your child's school is not teaching about Columbus Day, if your child's school has canceled Columbus Day, maybe get a couple copies for their library or their kindergarten classrooms or their first grade classrooms. I think we have the link in the comments. I gotta tell you, I shared this book on my own social media last night, and I immediately got a ton of hate for it already.
That's the name of the game. That's par for the course, honestly. You bring up Christopher Columbus and suddenly it's Indigenous Day.
It is. And that's the thing. Vermont, Washington, D.C., New York, these are all places, I think California
it's not
too.
that big
These
of
are
a
all
hop and a
places
skip,
that have
Lady
completely
Necro.
canceled Christopher Columbus and traded it for Indigenous Peoples Day.
Let me tell you, I'm sure there are numerous people in the PragerU audience who would do those apologetics.
Which we obviously respect and admire.
This is one of the ladies who runs PragerU. and the other is one of the hosts of a PragerU talk show.
Are indigenous people here in America. No one is trying to discount, the existence or the contributions or the wisdom that that they have provided to the foundation of America. But come on, you can't cancel the guy who brought Western civilization to the Western Hemisphere. You
Yes, you can, and you should. Holy moly!
can't cancel it. Any comments about Christopher Columbus? Any parents who have
There's
already
some trolls
purchased the book?
giving the usual talking points about
Give a troll. Give a troll. Hey, trolls.
Let's see what he said.
Wink, wink.
It was he is a symbol of the tyranny of the West, and
Okay.
when they invade poor nations and colonize them and leave behind nothing but a trail of blood and death and destruction.
Okay.
Leave behind nothing except the greatest form of government, the greatest country to ever exist, the literal.
Wait, the founding fathers literally based the Constitution that you guys jizz yourselves over every single day on the Confederacy of Native Tribes. Like, Jesus.
Free world.
The free world.
He left behind nothing more.
Nothing more.
Yeah.
Okay. I do like art. Love to the trolls.
Speg, it's a great question. Indigenous Peoples Day makes way more sense for learning about indigenous folks than it does to learn about Columbus. Who gives a shit about Columbus? In terms of American history, not a big thing, I suppose, or at least a big thing, but not as big as learning about the cultures of the United States that were wiped out as a result of Columbus. Let's see. I don't know. One of the cool things about North America, right? Here we go. You can pretend all you want that, America is, we know enough about the indigenous people, right? We don't. We really don't. I mean, how many of you have even seen a map like this before? Of, indigenous folks? Yo, Vosh Vidya! Welcome, Vosh fans! We just finished watching up a PragerU video. Welcome, everybody. We're doing a charity stream for the Trans Empowerment Network. We're raising money. The Trans Empowerment Network, Trans Empowerment Project gives direct aid to trans folks to help them with emergency food, with clothing, with shelter, with transportation out of dangerous circumstances, with legal help, either to change legal documents or to just help them out of various jams, and also does stuff for providing emergency hormones when they need it. So !charity in chat if you would like to make a dono. We are still not quite at our total goal of 4K, but let's get it up to 100%. Okay, we've been going for a while. Trans rights indeed. Welcome, comrades. Hope you're all having a lovely evening with some Super Mario Sunshine. Did Vosh finally get good at video games? Sisyphus, thank you for the follow. Vagrant Sam, thank you for the follow. Hell's Finest Gent, Molly Brooks, a 91, One Shook Boy, Unnamed, Zero, Metal Beatles, Ham Monkey, Need Burritos, Double O, and Hrafnekel. Thank you all for the follows. I appreciate them. Also, LOL 101, Psychic Moose, Vox Populi, New Tongue Slur, Amish Inventor, Hey, I'm Bree. Thank you all for the follows. Came from Voosh, despite him refusing us the link. Wait, alt. What link? What link did he refuse you? Howdy, everybody. Yeah, we've been fundraising for everyone who's donated over $25. I've drawn something on my face or arms, so we're doing pretty good here. Please make donos. We've been trucking along. We've kind of hit like a lull. Hopefully, y'all can shake it up. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Riverboat Jack. I'm a political commentator on Twitch.tv. I talk about socialism and democracy in the workplace and the decommodification of basic goods and services in society and how we might improve society somewhat. And you're probably familiar with me from the recent panel that I did and also tipsy conversation with Vosh, and yeah, and maybe if you're really brain poisoned, you're familiar with me because I got into a little dispute with Hans of Harkir about schools. So this is where the raid went? Yeah, what's up? And yet you participate in society. I know, it's very naughty of me. Oh, also, raiders, please click the little picture of my face below stream so I get credit for your lovely eyeballs. Welcome. To your Twitch, us filthy websiters had to work for the raid. Oh, well, thank you for coming despite not having a link. I appreciate it. Hope that shirt... Wait, am I getting black on the shirt? Yeah, I don't think so. Yo, thank you for the $15 dono. I really appreciate it. We are going strong here. Let's see. Anon, thank you for the $15 dono and the solidarity. Thank you for being a trans ally. And remember, if you don't donate, you are indeed homophobic and transphobic, okay? Don't ask me how it makes you homophobic, it just does. Liv/Brutus, thank you for the $50 dono. Yo! Absolutely incredible. Thank you so much. Hey, Molly Brooks, what's up? Also, I see we got some good Conyer chatters. Those who scoot together stay together, am I right, friends? I'm a very late boy, but that's just because I forgot you were streaming. Oh, that's okay. Oh man, I love the Scoots emote. It's so cute. Imagine not having Twitch open in another tab while watching Bosch. I know, right? Just living, packing up to move. Yo, packing up to move is a pain in the butt. Good luck. Vouchraid, I'm a bit late. That's okay, Potato Band Plug. You know I like you. Gave you 2 credits. Lettuce Cow, thank you for the credits. I appreciate it. How y'all, how was Vosh stream? Did he cover content? Or was it mostly Mario? Also, Liv/Brutus, if you would like me to draw something, just let me know. I still got space on my arms and my face. Where's the boat, though? I am the boat. I am the ship of ideas. He did indeed cover content. Dylan versus the tanky dude? I heard that was brain melting. I unfortunately haven't caught either the panel nor the discussion, but saw Vosh mediate the Hans Joe shit, which involved you. Shit was wild. Yeah. If any of you want like a summary of my ideas, I did a long video on anarchist education that at least one person who watched it said changed their mind. So if y'all would be interested in watching that video, I can link that actually. Boop. Yo, Papa Victor, thank you for the $25 dono. There's the video if you're interested in the anarchist perspective. And I'm not an anarchist, I'm a libertarian socialist. Two different things. Land back knuckle tat? I don't know what that would look like. Land back. There we go. We got land back. Protect trans kids. Dracorath, thank you for the $5. Yeah, we just watched a video where PragerU argued that a concerned citizen group, the Child Protection League, which is explicitly homophobic and transphobic and weirdly involves like Middle Eastern hate as well, has valid complaints about sexual education being bad for schools. Sisyphus, thank you so much for the $25 dono. Trans rights, trans thriving. Vosh rad. Vosh rad indeed. Thank you so much for the raid, Vosh. And if you're in chat, you're more than welcome to come and hang out. Yeah, they argued that the Child Protection League had some very interesting criticisms of teaching sex ed to kids, and then transitioned into genocide apologia. It was very interesting content, to say the least. Just real quick, I need to play you the final line because it literally makes me mauled so hard.
Civilization to the Western indigenous people. I think California too. These are all places that have completely canceled Christopher Columbus and traded it for Indigenous Peoples Day, which we obviously respect and admire our indigenous people here in America. No one is trying to discount, the existence or the contributions or the wisdom that, that they have provided to the foundation of America. But come on, you can't cancel the guy who brought Western civilization to the Western Hemisphere. You can't cancel it. Any comments about Christopher Columbus?
Can't. Yeah, Central Standard Time, baby. You just can't cancel Christopher Columbus. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong. He just, he arrived on an island that had the population of over 300,000, and sure, in the span of like 50 years, there were only 500 people left, and that represents a reduction of 99.999%. But he was a good guy. He was such a good guy, though.